Saw the headline screaming yesterday. Oh, the boycotts are increasing for the World Cup coming up here in North America this year. It's all nonsense. Every single headline you see like that is utter nonsense. It's 8:04. We have Zach Brown Band tickets coming up in 10 minutes here on KCMO. So I saw this from Time Magazine. Calls for a boycott of the World Cup grow. Okay. And unfortunately, we have a society now where no one actually reads beyond the headline. They just see the headline and they're like, oh, man, I hope people are coming to Kansas City for the World Cup this year. We were told 650,000 people are coming. Now, listen, that headline or that number, I think, is a very generous overestimation, but not the point. People are going to be here for the World Cup. The World Cup will go on. You will have foreigners all across the United States watching soccer this year. There is no doubt about it in my mind, John.
It'll be great to get a T-shirt that just says football is soccer. You just said that. Remind me of it. No, it's like they're setting up an excuse there. They throw up this high estimate, and then when we don't hit it, oh, well, it's the administration.
Well, I think there's going to be some of that going on. But in the last 48 hours, you've had some people calling for boycotts. But let's talk about who actually these people are.
Please.
All right, so we've got a German soccer official, and if you guys know who these individuals are, you let me know. All right, I don't know these people. Okay, Gottlich is his name. He is the president of the St. Pauli club soccer team and one of the German Federation's 10 vice presidents. He has called for a boycott of the World Cup. However, he is famously an activist.
Mm-hmm.
A political activist is what he is. Then, and I knew this guy's name when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. Someone else. Sepp Blatter, former FIFA president. You're laughing. He has...
Well, Sepp Blatter means Hillary Clinton.
In FIFA language?
Yeah.
Sepp Blatter, the former FIFA president, is warning fans against traveling to the United States for the World Cup. Now, if you recall, he was ousted in disgrace back in 2015, and he has been vocal in criticizing the organization that he once led ever since he was booted in disgrace.
Sound familiar?
Yes, exactly. That's a good one. Good comparison there. There's a bill in the UK to demand that the World Cup be moved out of the United States. So that's gotten some attention, too. And guess what? Even in the UK, out of 650 members of parliament, 26 sponsors on the bill. 26, less than 5% of the parliament in the UK want to be a part of that bill. There is nothing there when it comes to the World Cup and whether or not it's going to be coming to the United States and the rest of North America and how successful it's going to be. But this is a momentum shift that many are claiming has happened over the last few days. It's big over on Blue Sky, which is the alternative to X that has driven Bluesky, yes. It's driven a lot of people over to that social media platform. And it's basically just where far left libs can cry in each other's tears. That's really all that Blue Sky has become. X is still the town square, and it crosses all party lines, which I find to be healthy. Now, your algorithm is going to feed you things that it thinks you will like, but it still has people across the political spectrum, which is important to do and important to have. So Blue Sky is just this little bubble. And it's there that you're seeing a lot of this like, oh, man, the World Cup might be a total bust this year. It might not happen. And the other thing that you're seeing is headlines about how, boy, and I saw some of this locally, and this has come up. We talked about this, actually. I was on Kansas City Week in Review last week on Kansas City PBS, and Nick Haynes brought up this topic. And he goes, hey, you think that these boycotts are going to happen for the World Cup? And this was before the latest shooting in Minneapolis. And I said, no. This will be like when conservatives swore that they were never going to watch the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick. There may have been a small percentage of people that didn't, but the NFL is now doing record ratings. And they're not doing record ratings because of the blue ski crowd. They're doing record ratings because red-blooded, good old Americans are watching the NFL. That's why. The rest of the world is addicted to soccer like we are football, okay? If they have the money, if they have the juice, they're coming to watch their team.
The bougies can stay home. The working man will be buying those tickets.
Yes.
At that point.
Exactly right. So, the other thing that you will see here is headlines like, well, there's 75 countries that are part of this travel ban, and some of those countries are coming to North America for the World Cup and coming to the United States for the World Cup. So, oh, man, these people, there's just no way they're going to be able to get here. Okay, let's have actually a nuanced, detailed, fact-based conversation here. I know that's difficult for some, but let's actually do it, okay? And this is something that Andrew Giuliani talked about on this show a couple of weeks ago. He's running the White House task force for the World Cup. You have a separate visa program that is handling temporary travel visas for people who are coming here for the World Cup specifically. It's a different process. It's a specialized, expedited visa process for ticket holders called FIFA Pass. It offers priority appointments. This is not the non-World Cup routine visa application process that faces stricter vetting and, 10-year social media checks and all these other things that are part of that process. It's a different process. But once again, people just want to see the headline, 75 countries part of U.S. travel ban under Trump. Many of those countries are scheduled to play soccer here. Okay, those people are coming, the players are coming, and guess what? The rich fans who can afford to come to the United States and pay for travel and pay for housing and pay for tickets, they're fine, and I promise you, they're still going to come as well. So this is all just competing for headlines, competing for clicks, and competing for a narrative against the administration that will, I don't believe, play out at all here in Kansas City or anywhere else. Now, do I think Kansas City might get to 650,000 people? Listen, gun to my head, no, I don't. Okay? I think that's a wild overestimation. Do I think it can be a very and by the way, no one's really sharing the data on how they get to these numbers anyway. Do I think it can be a very successful event for Kansas City? Do I think it can be the kind of event that people, small businesses, do well, make money, have a memorable few weeks? Absolutely. I firmly do believe that. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But this whole thing is just getting way out of control. 913-408-7957. That's the text line and the studio line on KCMO. Pete, if some of these crazy globalists boycott the World Cup, so be it. Who cares? Well, I don't care. That's not the point. It wasn't about whether or not I care. It was about whether or not the story's being basically manufactured and made up and driven by social media, or if it's real. And it's not real. And none of the angles they're using to suggest that it's real are real. It's all just because they want it to be true. It's not based in reality at all. It's not about whether or not any of us care. Pete, Kansas City during the World Cup, it's going to be tough to find English being spoken around here. See, I disagree with that. Listen, remember, the people who are coming here are wealthy from these other countries. I think a lot of them are going to speak English already. I mean, you act like it's just going to be a pouring in of like the third world. That's not how this is going to go. And I'm not saying that because I'm like some diehard World Cup guy. I've been fairly critical of FIFA as an operation. Listen, and there's plenty to criticize FIFA for as an operation and some of the sketchiness they've been involved with over the years. But you got to understand who can actually afford to come here and do these things. So I'm okay with it. I welcome all of them. And I hope it's a great win for Kansas City and all these local businesses.
And England's going to be one of the teams here. So
well, yes.
English speakers.
Yeah, what do we have? England?
Netherlands. I got my Netherlands hat on today.
Oh, is that the hat? I was like, what? I didn't know if that was like a Seattle Kraken hat or what you had on there.
This is Netherlands soccer, yeah.
Wow.
The Lion.
That's an ugly hat, Mark.
Thank you.
That's a really ugly hat. Anyway,
I enjoy it.
Who else do we have?
I believe Argentina.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's Kansas City. And then allegedly Algeria is going to be in Lawrence.
Okay. Yeah, I see that this was yesterday, the BBC. I think Chris Ketz had it first last week, but the BBC then confirmed yesterday that England has asked FIFA to have its World Cup camp at Swope Park. So that's a big development, too, yesterday.
So, and to speak Dutch, just say, yeah, sure, you betcha at the end.
I will do that, John.
Yeah. Your THs are just a hard T sound,
right.
so the thunderstorm's coming.
I got to write that down.
Sure, you betcha.
I got to write that down. It's way too much work for me.
Not like you don't hear Spanish here with Argentina coming, right?
I mean, come on, exactly.
So,
yeah, it's like get out a little bit, you know?
Yeah, right. Go to New York City and walk a block.
Touch some grass. That's important to do.